Jennifer,
Yes,
you ready to go?
thank you.
Wilson, ready to go. Awesome. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final road and bridge edition of the Albany County Commission meeting from June 6th, 2023. We will be in the new room or the renovated commissioner's room.
It's all right.
I'm 100% on that. Next time, so in 2 weeks, we'll be underneath at the bottom of the courthouse. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Rivera,
Here.
and I am also here. If you stand and join me with the pledge of allegiance on the back wall. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, public hearings. We have a few public hearings today, but they hopefully will go fast. The first one is renewal of retail liquor licenses. Would anybody like to speak on or against the renewal of retail liquor licenses? Please come on up.
Hi,
And your name, please.
I'm Nita Angan with the Trading Post in Centennial.
Good morning.
This is our annual thank you to the commissioners and Kayla and her team on the renewal of our license. You couldn't do it without your team. So thank you very much. Thanks for all the support.
You bet. Anybody online, would you like to speak on or against the retail liquor license renewals? Last call. Mr. President, entertain a motion to close that public hearing.
I so move. Second.
Moving and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, everyone signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. I'd like to open up the public hearing for the renewal of restaurant liquor licenses. Anybody in the room or online like to speak on or against the renewal of restaurant liquor licenses in Albany County? Commissioners, I entertain a motion.
I moved out when we closed the public hearing for the renewal of restaurant liquor license.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing that all is in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. I'd like to open up the public hearing for the renewal of limited retail liquor licenses, the club licenses in Albany County. Anybody on or against the renewal of limited retail liquor licenses? Last call. Commissioners, I entertain a motion.
I move that we close the public hearing. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. I'd like to open a public hearing for the renewal of microbrewery permits in Albany County. Anybody on or against, either online or in person? Last call. I entertain a motion, commissioners, please.
I move that we close the public hearing for the renewal of microbrewery permits.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. And finally, the last public hearing, renewal of a winery permit in Albany County. Anybody online or in person like to speak on or against the winery permit renewal? I entertain a motion, commissioners, please.
I move that we close the public hearing on the winery permit. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, all opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. Item 4, comments from the public. If you'd like to make a public comment and you're in person, you can come to the lectern and just state your name, or if you're online, if you would just state your name. We'll get you the floor and last call for public comment, online or in person. Commissioners, I entertain a motion to close the public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 5, Commissioner Jones, any disclosures?
No.
Commissioner Barron.
I have none.
And I have none also. Item 6, considerations of changes on the agenda. Jennifer, you're gonna add a half dozen, aren't you?
No, I'm gonna take 2 off and only add 2.
All right.
That's right. I'd like to remove items 28 and 29 that are the sheriff's award and contract on the bids. The pricing for the police packages that they need won't be available until later this month. So if we could remove those, The one I have to add is an addendum to the invitation to bid to extend the submission date to be June 29th at 3 p.m.
Jennifer, can we keep 28 on, because it's separate, it's for the all-use county vehicles?
Oh, wait, so is it 27 and 28? Isn't there an award?
They're just.
It just was.
Just the,
Oh, sorry.
the 29, yes.
Yeah, just 29.
28 on.
Keep 28, sorry, I read it wrong. And then the item that I would like to add is, I forgot to, we talked about it at pre-agenda, but I forgot to get it to Kayla, is the agreement with the city for ambulance services in the county for this upcoming fiscal year. This is the third year of the discounted rate off of the pro forma that we had talked about a couple of years ago. Commissioner Jones, I'm happy to catch you up when we get to that item if you'd like. And so I have the contract for this upcoming year.
Okay, are you gonna stay with this all day?
Yes,
Okay, should we put it at 55 at 8?
absolutely. Thank you.
Please.
Right, I need to remove item 41, that agreement did not come in like I was expecting it, so it'll most likely be on your next. Agenda item. And then I actually need to add one, we did a quick. Application for sheriff's office for his impaired driving and occupant protection grant. And I just need you to ratify it. And it can be at the end, I don't care. Whatever.
We can just make it 41. How about
Sounds great, thank you.
any other changes? He needs pull from the consent agenda, or I'd entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I would approve the consent agenda as amended. A second.
Moving second, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're now page 2 on the regular agenda. It's a real pleasure of mine. I had a chance this morning to work and watch the courthouse security team talk with members of the state and the Supreme Court. We have the Honorable Justice John Fenn with us today. And known John for some time, Justice Fenn, and Justice Fenn, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your agenda, and thank you for having me here in Albany County. We came over at the invitation of the local court security folks, and one of my duties as a new justice is I'm the chair of the statewide court security commission. And one of the things we're finding out is we've done a pretty good job with hardware throughout the state, but now a lot of that hardware is not being manned, and manpower and people at presence is really the thing we're trying to push for. We were lucky to have a couple hours. Some of you were there, as well as other members of the Albany County Court Security Team, and I think you've got some great things coming forward. It never can happen soon enough. And I think that's probably one of the areas that we can help facilitate some of the conversation. I'm really happy to see that you're moving towards a single point of entry on your courthouse. There's going to be some growing pains with that. The other thing is just having a presence in the courthouse with deputies is something that I think you really need to, you're moving forward in that direction, and it will be a great thing. The other thing I would point out is we're seeing a lot of changes within the judiciary, new judges, a lot of changes within the sheriff's departments and even the county commissioners in some counties. And so we think I come here and I do this and I think, okay, we got Albany County off the check mark. Well, it's a never ending process, and we have to just keep at it all the time, because we're constantly rolling over with people and new needs and demands. And so even though I'm here today, I'm certainly only a phone call away to help out where we can, to help promote and facilitate that. The way we work is we are the state commission. Each county has its own security commission kind of underneath that. We don't have any supervisory over that, but we do help promote and support those county security commissions, and so we're here to do that as well. I didn't bring any cards with me, but you all know how to get a hold of me, or you can find me pretty quickly. If we can help out any further, it would be great. I brought along Joe Hardigan, who is our statewide kind of security expert and works at the Supreme Court. We won't, I don't know that we'll give you a formal punch list, but he gave a number of items to talk about with the sheriff, and hopefully that, you start thinking about implementing those things. And again, thank you for being here. We really, we're taking security seriously. I think that the world is constantly changing, and to think that it won't happen in Wyoming is burying your head in the sand. It has happened in Wyoming. We've had an armed guard or armed deputy wrestled down and guns taken from that deputy in Evanston. We had a school playground shooting in Sheridan County in 1993. We had Cokeville school shooting in the 90s. And so it has, and it continues to happen in Wyoming. And we always have to be on guard for it. And we're really here to promote it and help you where we can. I understand there's physical constraints. We don't come with a checkbook, but we do come with awareness and wanting to help. And the chief, I spoke to her yesterday, and she'll be asking, how did it go? And so you've got the ear of the court and the chief. And we also, he's not here today. His partner, George Nygon, is the deputy of the home security, and he's very much in the executive branch, has the ears of the executive branch. So we can help. So thank you. I don't know if any of the judges, we have both judges here, and the sheriff. I don't know if they want to make any presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. And again, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
I just want to thank you, Justin, for coming over and your support and bringing the team and all. That's great.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, Judge Rice, please.
I echo everything that Justice Ben said, and I would just like to thank the county commissioners for being aware of this, funding positions and doing those things. I appreciate it. As one of the two judges, I think Judge Sanford and I both agree that it's something that we really appreciate, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Judge Mosby. Thank you for joining us this morning. Judge Sanford, thank you for joining us this morning. And then representative from public defenders, Sheriff Applehands, thank you for leading the tour. Anthony was there, who's not here, our new maintenance guy. So thank you all. This was a reschedule. The weather's much better in Albany County in June, as it turns out, than it is in March or April. So thank you for joining it, and thank you for giving us, Joe, all those pointers and things to work on. We'll be a little bit better the next time you come see us, I'm sure of that. So thank you. Item 9, present for approval, final acceptance of the Albany County Board of Commissioners meeting room remodel project, and direct the clerk to advertise the final payment to Shepherd Construction Inc. The balance due on the 41st day following the advertising. The final cost of the contract was $169,258. Jake, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. So this is just to accept the commissioner meeting room as complete and advertise that completion. Yeah, the project came in at $169,258. We had budgeted $170. We're in a little under budget, over schedule, but we had some delays in the case work and stuff. So this is just to accept it, to tell the contractor we're done. We did do a substantial completion inspection a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sure all of you got to visit the room. It's very nice.
Commissioners, any questions for Jake?
Does this include the 169,000? Does that include the architectural work that was done?
Partially. It does. We did a design build. There was a initial contract to do a conceptual layout for, I think it's $2,000. And then we contracted with the contractor as a design build.
Okay.
So that was included. I think their fee was around $12,000. Is that?
That seems about right. That was included in the 170 or
Okay.
169.
Very good. Thank you.
We had a meeting in it yesterday, like the program, it's great, and IT, thank you so much, and everybody who picked out the colors and the furniture, it's gonna be a wonderful place to hold a few more people. You know, it's one chair for one square, I heard that yesterday. Don't put your chair in two different squares. One chair for one square, how it is. Any other questions? I entertain a motion for item 9, please.
I move that we accept the approval of the Albany County Board of Commissioners meeting room remodel project and direct the clerk to advertise for final payment to Shepherd Construction and the balance due on the 41st day following the first advertisement. The final cost of the contract, $169,258. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And thank you, Jake, for shepherding that process through. Item 10, present for approval, standard form of agreement between owner and architect with the Rep Design Group LLC for architecture and engineering fees for the remodel of the second floor of the existing building at 3821 Beach Street. An amount not to exceed $134,990. Jake and Jennifer.
Yes, so the architects provided us the standard AIA document for that. What you have in front of you is a draft with some changes on it, and in working with Dale, we don't have the final one yet. It will look substantially similar to with the changed one that you have now. The amounts won't change, those are included as well. So we would ask that you approve it and allow the commissioner to sign, or the chairman to sign, and we'll get it finalized this week.
Commissioners, any questions for Jennifer or Jake? I entertain a motion for item 10 then.
I move that we approve item 10 as presented.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing that all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. Item 11, present for approval, standard form of agreement between owner and architect with Rep Design Group. Am I saying that correctly, Jake?
Yes, it's a rep, yes.
Okay, LLC for architecture and engineering fees for the expansion of the existing building and remodel of the first floor at 3821 Beach Street in amount not to exceed $529,516.
So this is the same contract, some of the pricing, the pricing obviously changed, but some of the terms also, because this one includes landscaping design, whereas the remodel of the first floor doesn't, or the second floor doesn't. So that's what we had talked to them about, that it was included in their price. So, but that's in the draft, that's in the things, we're just still finalizing it with you.
And this will just be for the design portion of that. It's or
Yes.
is it part of the bill? Is that anticipated part of the bill?
This is just for the design and the engineering for the building, and if we will, as we move forward early in the project, we will solicit for a CMAR, a contractor manager at risk, to come on board and with the design and engineering of it from a constructability standpoint. And then the CMAR will, when we're almost done with the design, they will go solicit bids for the construction of the project.
And we'll have pricing in that process in there, so we will know as a county what we can move forward with and what we can't. If we don't have the available funding to do the expansion and remodel at all, then we can just stop that project at that point.
But then that would already have been done if we then down the road want to go forward.
Yes.
Can I ask where it's being paid out of? Is it coming from the ARPA funds?
Yeah, then both of them are coming from ARPA at this point. The item number 10 for the second floor. If I can swing it, I'm gonna pull it from Kim's other $500,000 just to get that spent. But I have to have discussion with them.
And Jake, are these numbers, I don't deal in this world that often, are those consistent with what you're seeing as far as?
Design and engineering fees, yeah, and engineering, so we say architectural engineering, but within engineering, we have structural, electrical, mechanical, HVAC. I mean, there's a whole slew of, I mean, there's a pretty large team to do a large building like this, so it's quite a bit of an effort, and we did solicit to or we got 2 responses, I guess, on our solicitation, and a rep was cheaper by $100,000.
Yeah.
So
Substantially cheaper.
So what did they forget?
I don't know. I don't think
We'll keep
my,
our fingers crossed. That's not the case.
yeah, no, I don't think they've forgotten anything. I've worked with them on many projects, and I've worked with the other folks as well. Architects are they do this for a living. They've been doing that a long time, so I'm completely confident that they'll be able to finish the project for us.
Okay, and can we add, like, for instance, we want to make sure that there's at least the R value that's required at this location, because, life cycle of a building, not just the purchase price, it's the expense of operating that building. So if we have to pay a little bit more upfront to have a less expensive building at the end of 50 years, that seems to be pretty money well spent.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll work through all of those details, and we've kind of explained to the architect that they're on the hook for some changes as we go through this process, and they're in the AIA contract. It basically says they're going to give us a product that we want at the end of the project.
Super, thank you. Commissioners, anything else? I entertain a motion for item 11.
I move that we approve item 11 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Ms. Anderson, your mute came off. Were you wanting a comment?
Sorry, I was preparing for the next, the next number, not this one. I'm a little early.
Oh, worries at all. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same side, please. That motion carries. Item 12, present for discussion, officially renaming Swastika Lake on the United States Forest Service land in the Snowy Range. Ms. Sanders, good morning. The floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me this morning. My name is Lindsay Sanders, and I'm here to support my petition to change the name of Swastika Lake. The swastika emerged as an ancient symbol used by cultures to signify well-being and good fortune. When Hitler decided to make the symbol for the Nazi Party, the swastika became one of the most significant symbols of hate, anti-Semitism, and infamy in much of the world outside Asia. I found nothing in local archives or online about the origins of the name of Swastika Lake, and we may never know who named this one, when, or why. Although Swastika Ranch, Swastika Store, and the Ladies Swastika Club existed in Albany County, those names were all changed during or after World War II. Yet the name of Swastika Lake remains. We would like the name now to be changed. This proposal for Swastika Lake's name to be changed to Fortune Lake is a reference to the origins of the swastika as a symbol of fortune. Today, anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic incidents throughout the US are at the highest levels ever recorded. The swastika symbol is often present in those incidents as much as the most effective way to communicate hatred for Jews. It is a painful, sorry. It's a painful reminder of the Holocaust, and it's offensive to many. According to World War II, 500,000 brave Americans sacrificed their lives in defeat of the Nazis. Keeping this name, Swastika Lake, in the United States denigrates their sacrifice. Please support the name change. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders, and on the 79th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Kim, would you like to have any discussion about this?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kim Reiner. I'm the Secretary for the Albany County Historical Society. And we agree completely with the sentiment that has been expressed this morning, and that the name of Swastika Lake should be changed. However, we believe that the name should be something that's more closely associated with Albany County. Therefore, we're going to submit a submission that changes the name to Knight Lake in honor of longtime resident Samuel Howell Knight. And for those of us of a certain age, we still remember how prominent he was in Albany County. In fact, he was named as Wyoming's Citizen of the Year, Citizen of the Century in 1999 by the American Heritage Center, Citizen of the Year for Health, Technology, and Science. He's also closely associated with the location of Swastika Lake because he founded the University of Wyoming Science Camp, which is located only about a half mile from Swastika Lake. And thousands of students, college students from across the United States, study the ecology of the Swastika Lake area. The Samuel H. Knight Science Center was named for him, but since it was sold by the university and purchased by a local church, that name has been dropped. So there's nothing currently Albany County wide that honors his contribution to Albany County and the University of Wyoming. I'm not sure what the Bureau of Geographic Names will do when there are two submissions with different names, but we would really prefer that it honor a local citizen. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And again, we really thank Lindsay for bringing this to our attention and all the work that she did in researching and all the particulars about the location and the numbers and all that kind of stuff. So there we have it. We will be sending in our submission probably this week.
If there's any questions for Kim?
I don't have any questions, but I do have kind of a long comment on this. And first of all, Tim, thank you. I appreciate everything you do for Albany County and the Historical Society. And I appreciated the letters that you sent in concerning Swastika Lake. And so Swastika Lake is in the Medicine Bow National Forest. It's located near Green Rock picnic site off of 130 between Sally Lake and Libby Creek. There is an easy half-mile walk to Swastika Lake. Leave your fishing poles in the vehicle, as there are no fish in the lake, unless you have a little one that's a water beater, and they'll have a good time. The earliest known swastika is from 10,000 BC, an intricate pattern of joined up swastikas found on a late Paleolithic figurine of a bird carved on mammoth ivory. The equilateral cross with its legs bent at right angles is a millennial-old sacred symbol in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. That represents peace and good fortune, and it was used widely by indigenous people worldwide in a similar vein. The Navajo people began using the swastika pattern in the 1800s, referring to it as a swirling log, whirling log, falling log, and predates 1920 when the Nazi Party stole it. Good luck, good fortune, well-being, right action, world prosperity, worldly enjoyment, spiritual liberation are a few of the positive and hopeful terms applied to the swastika. Hinduism considers a right-facing swastika to represent the sun, and the left-facing swastika to represent the night. The Swastika Ranch in Albany County, Wyoming, and Laramie County, Colorado, was established in 1880. Today, the Wyoming part of the ancient Swastika Ranch is currently part of the Chimney Rock Ranch. In Albany County, the Swastika brand is registered to a lifelong rancher in the Centennial Valley. So why would we remove the teaching opportunity to explain history of the swastika, both good and bad? The bad was very bad. However, the good predated the bad by eons, and the good is truly good and represents hope and goodwill. Today, the Communist Party uses a red star and hammer and sickle to represent their ideals. Should we stop using the red star because we are repulsed by the evils of communism? Indeed, Dr. Knight was instrumental in many facets of Albany County and the University of Wyoming. However, we should not change names to soothe sensitive people. An educated person should be able to speak to both sides of the issue, but you must know that there are two sides of the coin to address. Keep history and teaching opportunities alive to learn about the good, the bad, and ugly of history. What better place to ask questions and learn than the beautiful Swastika Lake in the snowy range of the Medicine Bow National Forest. Limiting knowledge and removing history are the calling cards of communism. I believe Swastika Lake should remain Swastika Lake. Thank you for all that you do.
I don't know if I need to respond to that, but
you don't want
yeah,
to,
I do not want to.
okay. Well, it's a discussion item today, and it's a weird thing that the county commissioners would be deciding on a name for the US Forest Service. Or maybe we're just saying to them, this is what we would prefer. They can do whatever they want with it. I guess I don't know really the process. But now we'll have to, and Kayla, we can put this on as an item on the agenda. It's just a discussion. is what I have.
It's just a discussion, but from my understanding, they just have to notify. And I thought that Matt would be on from the UGN, but he's not. I don't know if he tried for looking at IT. You think he tried to get on to kind of explain the process.
Do you want to come back for this? If Matt joins us?
No, he said he was gonna try, but maybe he's just not able to. I could email him and see.
He's not registered at this time.
I can email him and see if you want. I mean, there's nothing, it's just a discussion item right now. But I think anybody can make the submission, but I think that the license, the board, the governing body has to be notified. So let me email him and see if he can maybe shed some light on the process.
Let's entertain a motion to table this, and then if we get some confirmation from Matt, then we'll come back to it and pull it from the table. And if not, then we'll just put it on the next meeting. Will that work for you, Kayla?
Yeah, I can figure out from him what we need to do.
Okay, I understand.
Chairman, I move that we table this item for further action once we have heard from Matt on a second.
Moving seconded. Any further discussion?
Can I ask a quick question? Is when you're tabling it, is that for discussion today or is that for discussion in another meeting?
But we're kind of waiting on the Bureau to get back to us. We thought he was going to be joining us today for the process. I'll have to tell you, well, today is that we will change the name of this lake. And so that's my vote. But whether that happens today or whether that happens in 2 weeks, I don't know.
Okay, well, just let me know if you need me, but I'll just be here.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Lindsay. I really do appreciate it. Item 13, present approval. Request for funding from 1% miscellaneous uncommitted funds for the Albany County Fairgrounds in the amount of $6,930.29 for new kitchen flooring. Taylor doesn't appear like she.
No, I think she's having surgery today.
And I can speak to you, Terry. I talked to her yesterday. Morning, Commissioner. I talked to Taylor yesterday. So in the kitchen of the big activity building at the fairgrounds, it has some old flooring, very old flooring. And then, of course, the walls have the baseboard on it, so you get grease and things stuck in a kitchen. They replaced the stove and the refrigerator last year, so it is a commercial grade. They would like to have the flooring put in so that they can advertise it as a commercial kitchen. And then the flooring would have no baseboards, it would just have.
It has a
A coat, thank you, yeah, just a smooth, so that cleaning in the kitchen would be much better, and then it's a slip-through floor as well. This is something that they would like to get done. They're requesting it for 1% funds. There are funds still available this fiscal year. So that's where they're at. They're just looking at if they can advertise it as a commercial kitchen, they can draw a lot more. Then people can actually come in for an event and cook there and not just have to bring their food in and serve it. So it's really a way for the fairgrounds to also be more self-sufficient in terms of making more money on their own too, so.
And I think it's important to know that the refrigerator and the stove came from the foundation. The county did not purchase that. This is a poured floor, so
Yeah.
there are no cracks or anything in it. So it's really easy to steam clean or however they need to clean it.
And it's, I don't know if you've been in the kitchen. The floor is
pretty rad.
Yeah, there's some, it's unsafe, there's some.
It is, and it's really slick when you get any, grease or whatever. I mean, it's pretty slick. We worked in there during the porch carnival, and it was very interesting. So it is definitely a plus for the fairgrounds, so. That's,
Commissioners, any questions? Kayla, or I'd entertain motion for 13, there are none.
I move that we approve item 13 as presented.
Second,
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, please. Motion carries. Item 14, present for approval, renewal of retail liquor licenses.
wait, I think you need to do 13.
that wasn't.
No,
That was
13.
removed.
No, that was 13. That was
13,
the
so-
fairgrounds.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Present for approval, renewal of retail liquor licenses. Kayla, thank you.
Right, I'm just gonna get all. Paper, yeah. it's not that. Okay. All right, sorry. Good morning again. So the next couple of items will be the renewal of the retail, all the liquor license here in Albany County. I will, if it's suits you, I will read all of them separately and then you can just approve them as one. The process is that, if you want to know, I guess that all the licenses have to be renewed by a certain time. Public hearing has to happen 30 days prior to the expiration of the license. So that's why we have the public hearing now. They don't have to be approved on the same day, but the public hearing has to happen. It's just easier to do it all on the same day. All licenses get sent to the liquor division over in Cheyenne. They do the final approval to make sure that the licensees meet all of the requirements that need to happen. I send it to the county attorney and to the sheriff to make sure that there aren't any issues with the licenses here in the county. So I haven't heard anything from either of them, so it must be good to go. We have very good license holders here in Albany County, and you can tell me to backtrack. But I will read them all separately for the renewal of the retail liquor licenses. We have
Okay, just wait a minute, just a quick question. If there were any infractions and all, sheriff would know about it.
I would
Would have received a report if anything. Okay.
We have very good license holders in Albany County. We're very lucky. They're longtime license holders, most of them are, so. I feel really fortunate. I get to work with really good people. I've been working with them for a long time, so. We have Bear Bottom LLC doing business as Bear Bottom Bar and Grill. Burco LLC doing business as V-Bar Guest Ranch. The Calverman 2 LLC doing business as the Calverman Steakhouse. Hubbard Mountain Covered LLC doing business as Hubbard Mountain Covered. Penn's Retreat LLC doing business as Woods Landing Resort. Trading Post Centennial LLC doing business as Trading Post Centennial. Sentinel Station LLC doing business as the Friendly Store. Ski-YO LLC doing business as Snowy Range Ski and Recreation Area. Snowy Range Resorts, Inc. doing business as Albany Lodge, and Waikolo Lodge LLC doing business as Waikolo Lodge. Those are the retail licenses for your.
Commissioners, any questions about any of those? If not, I'll entertain a motion for all of those.
I move that we approve all the renewals of retail liquor licenses.
Second,
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. Item 15, present for approval, renewal of restaurant liquor licenses. Kayla.
Okay, so we have one restaurant liquor license in Albany County. It's up in Centennial. It is for Old Corral Mountain Lodge, Inc., doing business as Old Corral.
Commissioners, any questions for Kayla? I entertain a motion for item 15. please.
I move that we approve item 15 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 16, present for approval, renewal of limited retail licenses, the club license.
So we have one club license here in Albany County. It's out at the golf course. So it is for VCR Inc., doing business as Fox Run.
I entertain a motion if there are no questions for item 16.
I move that we approve item 16.
Is there a second?
Second.
The move is seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 17, present for approval, renewal of microbrewery permits. Okay, thank you.
We have two microbrewery permits here in Albany County. We have Sheep Mountain Brewery LLC doing business as Sheep Mountain Brewery and Ski YO LLC doing business as Snowy Range Ski Area.
Any questions for Kayla? Not an entertained motion for item 17, please.
I move that we approve item 17 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 18, present for approval, renewal of winery permit. Kayla.
We have one winery permit here in Albany County. It's actually a satellite permit. Or satellite office from Weston Wineries, but it is Weston Wineries LLC doing business as Weston Wineries.
Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for item 18.
I move that we approve item 18 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. 19. Thanks, Kayla. Acknowledge the distribution of the U.S. Forest Reserve funds based on the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act of 2000 for fiscal year 2022-23 in an amount of $306,789.47 after sequestration for Title I and direct the clerk to advertise Title III funds in an amount of $25,265.02 after sequestration for proposed authorized county project. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. This is our annual forest reserve distribution, and it is less money than last year, even before sequestration. And it's just our standard. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Commissioners, any questions? If not,
So,
go ahead.
so this was done by the Forest Service to secure rural schools. And so is this leftover money from securing rural schools?
No, this is. Well, it's an annual distribution. It's not, I don't want to call it leftover money. We get it every year.
Right, I understand. So what's bringing this question is that we have a family that lives in rural Albany County that right now the school district is refusing to fund them a teacher. It was approved and then they reneged. And this kind of happened with the state too. And that's what secure rural funds are for. And
That, I guess I'm not an expert in there. I'm not well versed on that.
right.
But I would be happy to look into that further.
I know that we need it generally, but children's education is top priority. And we need to do something to help these people. Because they have a little boy that's like first grade now, and then in 2 years, I think they have a little girl. And we all know after COVID that learning on a TV screen is not the way to go. And they are 40 miles from the nearest other school. And so that's the secure rural schools is what's got me on this. And so, because obviously the state and the school district have fallen down flat on this. And that's completely wrong.
The school district does only get 5% of the 85%, which is 15,000, which I imagine that's probably not near enough to operate one room.
Well,
school
it's not
or-
even it. But I think you can see where my point is that
Oh, yeah.
this money was designed for secure rural schools. And we have a rural school issue that needs money. I'm not asking us to do anything about it today. It's just a point that I don't think it's right that money that was originally designed to go to rural schools isn't going to rural schools. So you don't have to.
No, I was just gonna say, last year in our treasurers association meetings, we did have, the deputy superintendent of public instruction came and spoke to us. And there are various communities that do have rural schools where they're paying their mortgages because of the homeschooling, and that becomes their cost of the school. So,
Well, this is different, because this is where these guys work and live. This is a family ranch. They've owned it, the family, for years and years and years. And to me, if we're not taking care of those kids on there, what this is this is an attack on agriculture.
I totally understand, and I mean.
Okay, and I'm not, so my point is, I'm not here to argue about it. I'm just
trying to
making.
think of ideas to maybe assist that family.
Yeah,
So Tracy, you're saying that they're receiving support in another way so that they can be homeschooled.
no, they're not.
No, not
This, not this
Not
family.
this family, I'm talking about other places in
Right.
the state. But there is other, I think, options that maybe we can look into to help that family.
Well, I hope so, because the school district is not helping at all.
I think they probably need to maybe go further. Into
They
the
have.
level.
They have. And right now, it's not working. So, anyway.
Okay.
I guess I wanted to say, we have a family that lives rurally and they need help.
I'm all for helping. but
Okay.
I don't know how.
That's right, and that's what, I wasn't asking you to come forward with an answer.
Yeah, and it is education, right? And
Yeah.
that is a bit outside of our bailiwick, and
It is, but this is secure rural schools. This is what this money came from. That was the point.
sure enough. Okay, any other questions? I entertain a motion for item 19 then, please.
I move that we acknowledge the receipt and distribution of the U.S. Forest Service reserve funds based on rural or secure rural schools and Community Determination Act of 2000, and direct the clerk to advertise.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
I,
Aye. All those opposed, say aye, please. That motion carries. Item 20, present for approval. Thank you, Tracy.
Matt O'Donnell is on, now he just emailed me back, so
Okay.
if we want to bring it back and have him explain maybe the process real quick, and then we can move on.
Okay, so this will be returning to the table motion on item 12. Mr. O'Donnell, and Lindsay, if you're still listening, this might be helpful to you. I don't know. The floor is yours.
I'm here.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
I move that we remove item 12 from the table for the discussion today.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
I,
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Mr. O'Donnell, we're ready for you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you, commissioners. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, what questions do you have about the BGN process, or what would you like to me to explain?
So Ms. Sanders has filed a petition. We have a local historic society that is going to file another petition for the change of the name from Swastika Lake to in Ms. Sanders' case, Fortune Lake in the Albany County Historic Board's Night Lake. What is the process? How do we help you with this process, and what's our role in it?
Yeah, anybody can submit a proposal to the BGN to change an official name. There's a link on the BGN's website for a proposal form. It's very simple to fill out, just the basic information about the location and the significance of the name, and why the name is the one that the county would like. So when we receive that, I'll start processing that and add it to the next quarterly review list, which will be posted at the beginning of July. And then we'll reach out to other stakeholders, Forest Service, allow tribes to comment. And once the comments are in, we'll have the BGN vote on either both proposals, or if Ms. Sanders supports the county's proposal, then there'll just be one proposal on the table for the BGN to vote on. But as much information as you can provide, or your historic commission can provide about the new name that you're proposing would be helpful for the board.
Super. And then does it matter if this commission picks one or the other, or how does that work?
We'll just go with the whatever recommendation the county has, whether it's for Ms. Sanders' proposal or if it's for the one the historic commission puts forward. We'll look to the commissioners as the elected body, speaking for the people who have an interest in the name in the county. And the BGN will take that into account, plus the recommendation of the Forest Service and the recommendation of the Wyoming Board on Geographic Names. There's a state board as well that will review this.
And my final question, Matthew, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
How long does this process, once we do our end of the process and get it to you, how long does that process usually take?
It's kind of dependent on the schedule of the Wyoming board. The US BGN, the US board, generally only votes once the state boards or state names authorities have a chance to weigh in, and the Wyoming board, I think, meets 3 times a year or twice a year. So it could take, it could be later this year. They might meet in October, November. I'm not sure of their actual date. But once all the stakeholder recommendations are received, the BGN will vote at its next monthly meeting. The BGN meets monthly to vote on proposals. So it's kind of a matter of when the state schedules or county schedules. But it could take a few months, unfortunately.
Okay, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, generally it takes on average about 6 months, depending on when state boards meet.
Okay, super. And then you have another one coming. Your next meeting is in July. Is that, am I hearing that?
The next BGN meeting in August. The July meeting is canceled due to staff and BGN member vacation time. But generally, the BGN meets every month.
But we need to make formal action of the recommendation of the board.
For the BGN itself, you mean? I'm sorry.
That's correct.
Yeah. If you need to have a motion at a meeting and vote on it, or if it's just a statement from the commissioners, however you would like to handle your formal recommendation to the BGN about this name change.
And my understanding is if we have another meeting in 2 weeks, that could be the time this gets done, or it could be done today. I'm not presupposing, I just kind of want to give a timeline to this commission.
Yeah, anytime. Well, as long as you can submit the proposal, if the historical commission or the county does, I missed the name that the historical commission was putting forward. But as long as you submit that to the BGN by the end of June, it will go on the quarterly review list at the start of July. Then the process will start. And then a few months later, the BGN will likely vote on it.
At this point, we don't have, the Historic Preservation Board is not officially in the running. And so we have, I think it's coming soon from Mr. O'Donnell.
Okay.
Vince, we just have Ms. Sanders, and so whatever your pleasure is, commissioners. If you have a question of Matthew or Lindsay, that's also fine too. Okay, there's a motion to either approve Ms. Sanders, deny Ms. Sanders, or table this discussion for the next meeting. Actually, all we can do is
I'd say we can just recommend that we just I can bring it back to the next meeting for approval or whatnot.
let's do that because we don't have it on our agenda. Mr. O'Donnell, thank you so much for the clarification.
You're welcome. Thank you for your patience with me.
You bet, and we'll be talking about this in 2 weeks, the 20th of June. And Lindsay, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Once again, we'll be on the 20th again for a decision. And I really do appreciate you taking your time out of your day.
Thank you very much for your time, all of you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all as well.
Thanks.
All right, that moves us back down to 20. Present for approval, commercial lease between Vijaya Kuduri and the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, by and through Albany County for the Supervised Treatment Program to rent the commercial office space at 605 Skyline Suite 102, Laramie, Wyoming, 82070 from June 15, 2023 through June 16, 2024 in the amount of $2,650, which includes $2,100 per month for rent and $550 per month for utilities and services. Heather, I see you on there. Good morning. The floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners, Chairman. Before you, I have just a request for approval. It is time to renew our yearly lease for our drug court offices. This is the second year that we are going to be in this location. The funds that we're using to cover these mostly come out of match funds from the county. Our hope is that at some point here in the future, we'll be able to move back into county-owned buildings. In the meantime, this is where we have been housed for a year. With this year, we did have a slight increase by $100 a month in rent and $100 in utilities and services. So that puts us at the $26.50 per month for the 12-month lease. And overall, it has been okay.
Second question.
Heather, if there's any issues as far as like snow removal and all, do they take care of that?
So that has been one of the things that has become kind of a negotiating thing last year. The landlord did give me approval to contact and contract with somebody for snow removal. The landlord did end up covering it for the few months we needed it. Although that did become a point where he had indicated that would be something we would be responsible for. Jennifer, I had Jennifer review it, and it is in our lease now that he would be responsible for snow removal.
But has he agreed to that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's part of the increase, I believe. We added snow removal and trash.
Yes.
And the other one, because just to be sure who was in charge of dumping the dumpster and doing all that. So I think that was part of that $100 a month increase.
Okay.
Correct.
Any other questions? I entertain an item, motion for item 20, please.
I move that we approve item 20 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Please.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. Thanks, Heather. Have a great morning.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Item 21, present for approval, approach license for Alpha Marine Boat, County Road 51, Two Rivers Road, Wyoming, located in section 23, township 17 north, range 74 west. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. We are getting a lot of approach licenses and requests and stuff, so I know David must be really busy. This is on Two Rivers Road. Basically, want to approach the two so we can start building a structure.
Commissioners, any questions? Not entertain a motion for 21.
I move that we approve item 21 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, please. That motion carries. Item 22, present for approval, utility license for Morris Construction on County Road 61, Fetterman Road, Wyoming. For ID 1200, Rob. Please.
And this is basically the next 5 are utility licenses to bore under Fetterman. To get the different places of operation, whether it be their offices or they down. They have 2 or 3 different areas where they need to go under the road. So
You're out. Any questions, commissioners? Item 22, I take a motion for that.
I move that we approve item 22 as presented. Second.
Moving second. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 23, present for approval, utility license for Morrison Construction on County Road number 61, Fetterman Road, Wyoming, 4 ID 602. Rob.
same thing, just a little different location.
I move that we approve item 23 as presented. I second.
Moving second, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
It's
Present
not
for
in the middle like very white.
present for approval, utility license for Morrison Construction on County Road 61, Fetterman Road, Wyoming, 4 ID 703. Rob, anything new to add to that? Okay, I entertain a motion for 24.
I move that we approve item 24 as presented. Second.
Moving second, any further discussion? Hearing seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same side. That motion carries. 25, present for approval, utility license for Morrison Construction on County Road 61, Fetterman Road, Wyoming, 4 ID 803. You'll stop me if you need to say something. I entertain a motion for 25. If you would, please.
So moved. To approve. Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 26, present for approval utility license for Morrison Construction on County Road 61 Fetterman Road, Laramie, Wyoming, 4 ID 903.
Dan on that one.
All right, I entertain a motion.
I move that we approve item 26 as presented. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. That was quick.
Yeah.
27, present for approval quote from Land Intelligence for Mitel licensing and support in an amount not to exceed $33,822.14. Adam.
Hi, thank you guys. Sorry I couldn't be in person. I'm trying to wrap up just a little bit of paperwork before leaving for Casper here. Before you today is a 3 years licensing quote. Mitel is our phone system. Land Intelligence is our essentially dedicated VAR. Mitel will only work through us through an elevated VAR. So the quote is generated by them for this licensing purchase, very similar to what we did again 3 years ago. They've been great to work with. The support's been outstanding, and I would say they've raised our phone system exponentially over the last 3 years and helped us coordinate several projects associatedly. And I look forward to future projects with them.
I see that they marked it down. Adam, was that because we're good people, or where do we get the good discount for?
Yeah, so re-upping in the same direction, multi-year savings because we're looking at a 3 year initiative, and then we coordinate this with kind of a Mitel end year, so they try to wrap in as many savings direct from manufacturer there as well.
Thank you.
So Adam, it's a one-time lump payment.
One time, one time, and that covers us for 3 years. Which is budgeted. You guys have budgeted those savings away into a dedicated, essentially, Mitel fund that you guys have collected over the 3 years. So,
And final question, Adam, do we own the phones?
We do.
Okay, super. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I'd entertain motion 47, please.
I move that we approve item 27 as presented. Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your time.
Item 28, present for approval, invitation to bid for purchase and delivery of 2 mid-sized hybrid 4-door all-wheel drive sport utility vehicles with trade-in directly clerk to advertise. Caleb.
Good morning. I'm here again. This is a invitation to bid to purchase 2 new county all-use vehicles. Right now, we have 2 vehicles in service. We have a newer Traverse, and then we have one of the old black 2007 Expeditions from way back. I think it was Rob degrees, actually. It still smells like it. That's how long. It's been a while. But we had it in the shop, and there's some problems with it. There's $1,800. And we're not going to fix it because it's not worth fixing it before we trade it in. So just an example of the fact that it's just becoming a little bit of a money pit more than anything. And with COVID being over and people with increased travel, having 2 vehicles is not enough for the county employees that are traveling. Even when people carpool, it's not enough. And people are moving towards not wanting to take their personal vehicles for work, which I don't blame them. So that's the ask for the extra vehicle. So hopefully 3 will, I mean, it's not gonna solve all of our problems, but it'll at least help with some of the travel that we have for the county employees as well. So that's what this ask is for.
Commissioners, any questions?
Aye.
If not, I'll entertain a motion for item 28, please.
I move that we approve item 28 as presented. And direct the clerk to advertise. Oh, and of course, direct. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 29 was removed. Item 30, present for approval, tax roll correction for 111 Hart Road, Richardson's Overland Trail Ranch LLC, and authorize the county treasurer to issue a refund in the amount of $52.15 for paid 2022 taxes for tax for incorrect acreage. Chelsea, good morning.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, so this is just a tax roll correction for Richardson. We had the incorrect acreage and they provided a survey, so we got that corrected and we need to refund them the $62.15.
Thank you, Chelsea. Questions, commissioners? If not, I entertain a motion for item 30, then please.
I move that we approve item 30 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thanks, Chelsea. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 31, present for consideration directed to publish the Laramie Growth Area Plan and schedule a public hearing. David, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So we're just at the point where Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended or certified their approval of the plan and recommended it to you for publication and a public hearing. So I guess a couple of things I just want to discuss, and this pertains to this item 32 as well. I think it's 32, the Casper Aquifer Protection Plan. I would recommend that we do not have both these plans published for the same day. It'd just be good to split those out. So I guess what we would need to do, if you're willing to publish these and to schedule a public hearing, we could schedule one for your first meeting in July, which would be the 5th. And then one for the second meeting, which is what day it was, the 18th. We could do that, or if you would like to push one of them ahead of the other, we could do a special meeting in the end of June. Or just keep it to our regular scheduled dates. The other thing, is we've discussed, and it's been suggested by a planning and zoning commission, and I spoke with Matt in the county attorney's office, that when we do publish, that we cut off written comments, maybe like the Friday before, so that we have time to compile them and get them to you prior to that meeting. Which that would meet the 14-day requirement that we have to meet. So that would be another something to consider. If you wouldn't like to do that, we can just do it like we've always done it as well. But that has been discussed, and we wanted to bring that forward as well. So with that, if you would like to direct me to publish this plan for one of those dates or pick another date, we just need the 14 days. So that put us in the end of June to meet that. So.
I have a question.
Sure.
David, in terms of the written comments, if we could do it the Wednesday before when we have to have the agenda due, it's much easier for me to compile all that so that it's in the packet so that the public can review that information, because if not, I'm having to re-upload on Monday, Tuesday, and if people aren't checking that, they're not seeing the most current comments, so it would be helpful. The agenda is supposed to go out at Wednesday at 5, so maybe if you cut it off Wednesday at noon so that we can compile all that to go on to the packet, it would, I think, helpful for the public too. And then it gives you a little bit of time too.
Yeah.
I don't know. And even if you need to do it before that, but at least if we can, so that we can make that part of the record.
And if we do make public hearings, both of those meetings in July, we'll have plenty of time to give people to comment, and then we can do the Wednesday, and that would be fine. So
It's a great idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that. Commissioners, any questions to David? We've been at the cap longer. My preference would be it be first, then a growth management plan second, if we were to do that. But that's just my thought on it. So commissioners, any questions? If not, I entertain the motion for item 31.
I move that we approve item 31 and schedule a public hearing for the Laramie Growth Area Plan to be after the Casper Aquifer Protection Plan. Here.
So July 18th, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay. Is there a second? Second, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, please. That motion.
Nay,
Uh,
said nay.
Thank you, Gary.
Mhm.
That motion passes. Item 32. Present for consideration directed to publish the updated Casper Aquifer Protection Plan and schedule a public hearing. David, please.
I don't have anything additional to say, we just need to make things.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 32, please.
I move that we approve item 32 as presented and schedule a public hearing for the first meeting in July.
That's like
Yeah, July 5th.
second, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, please.
Nay,
That motion carries. Item 33. Present for approval amendment number 2 to the contract between the City of Laramie Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for updating the Casper Aquifer Protection Plan for the purpose of extending the contract through term through September 29th, 2023. David, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this is just to extend the contract again for the CAP plan. Just to make sure that we can get everything squared away. I doubt we'll need to go that long to get the plan done. But we just want to make sure we have enough time to complete this and if we do have to do multiple meetings or something, then we make sure that we have the time to do that. So,
Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 33, please.
I move that we approve item 33 as presented.
Second, the moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same side, please.
nay,
Motion carries. Thank you, David. Item 34, present for approval, contract between the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, by and through Albany County Human Resources. Grand Avenue Urgent Care for Drug Testing Services. I need to get one in.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. This is just to renew our contract with Grand Avenue Urgent Care for our pre-employment and post-accident drug testing.
Commissioners, any questions for Anissa? If not, I entertain a motion for 34, then please.
I move that we approve item 34 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thanks, Anissa. Item 35, present for approval memorandum of understanding between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, and the Albany County Sheriff's Office for alcohol enforcement from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, in amount not to exceed $21,100. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, and for Commissioner Jones, I know we haven't met yet. I'm Andrew Terrell, the Community Prevention Specialist for Albany County. I started this role in November, so I just wanted to be available to you today in case you all had any questions for my lengthy list of items on your agenda this morning, so.
Any questions? Not an entertainment motion for 35, then, please.
I move that we approve item 25 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded on item 35. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Andrew, you got us moving. You're moving us right along. For approval, memorandum of understanding between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, and the City of Laramie Police Department for alcohol enforcement for July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, in amount not to exceed $13,900. Andrew.
So this is just extra funds that we have in our grant program that we've moved to the city police department. The alcohol enforcement funds can be used for additional patrols, enforcement compliance checks with taverns, liquor stores, gift cards for underage people that are participating in these enforcement checks, things like that. So these are additional funds that we've moved to the city police department starting for July 1st.
Commissioners, any questions? I didn't take a motion for 36, then please.
I move that we approve item 36 as presented.
For a second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 37, present for approval memorandum of understanding between the Board of Commissioners, Albany County, Wyoming, and the Albany County Prevention Specialist of the City of Laramie Police Department for use of ID scanners from July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
I attended a conference in Washington, DC in January, and went to a presentation put on by the Bismarck, North Dakota Police Department. Similar town to Laramie and similar community and county to Albany County. They have several higher ed institutions, and they have a lot of issues with fake IDs, similar to we do here. And they presented these forensic ID scanners that do a more in-depth scan of an ID rather than the handheld scanner, which simply scans a barcode. So what underage people are doing now is they're purchasing fake IDs online with all of their correct information. They're just changing their birth year by a couple of years to make them appear of legal age. And they're copying somebody else's barcode from a legitimate ID, which is getting past these handheld scanners. So the hope with these forensic ID scanners, working with the police department and Sergeant Craig Lenhart from the PD, to distribute them around different taverns in Laramie, rotate them on a regular basis, to catch more fake IDs. We'll be able to use the data and submit that to Department of Health just to show the fake ID problem we have here. And of course, the work with the city police department, they'll better regulate the use of fake IDs here.
Commissioners, any questions? Great description, thank you.
Andrew, will these be owned by the county?
They'll be owned by us, yes, and essentially not necessarily leased to the police department, but they'll be kind of maintained and moved around by the police department, yeah.
I move that we approve item 37 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 38% for approval contract between the Board of Commissioners and County of Albany, Wyoming. Volunteers of America Northern Rockies for the provision of 4 mental health first aid trainings from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, an amount not to exceed $3,600.
Volunteers of America in Albany County is who we use for our mental health first aid, suicide prevention trainings. They have the licensed and certified staff to put on those trainings. So these funds are used to purchase the materials for those trainings.
Commissioners, any questions? I didn't see the motion for 38.
I move that we approve item 38 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 39% for approval contract between Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, Tracy Young for prevention specialist services to conduct oversight model related to the prevention of the misuse or abuse of tobacco, alcohol, or controlled substances and activities designed to prevent suicide between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024, an amount not to exceed $45,000.
So Tracy was working with the prevention program before I was hired as a contracted employee. She helped Bailey restart the coalition, keep the prevention program going. She's been an incredible asset for me since I just started in November, building relationships with coalition members, learning about the prevention field, the history of prevention in Wyoming. And my hope with this new contract for her is to maintain the success and stability of the prevention program here. Continue building capacities towards applying for a drug-free communities grant in 2024, and to continue my relationship with her so that I can stay successful in this position.
And do both you, Andrew, and Bailey feel the need for a full year contract?
I would like a full year, yes. Like I said, as we move towards that drug-free communities grant, we have the framework established for it, just kind of maintaining that coalition. And maintaining those relationships so we can apply for it February or March of 2024.
I move that we approve item 39 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? And Andrew, do you feel like this will be the last year of the contract with Tracy?
Yes.
Okay. Will we need to think about it, adding that opposition in addition to what you have, or is that not something that you feel fairly comfortable?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to, if I can answer that now.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of federal funding around prevention coming out. Another item that's a little bit further down the agenda, of course, is the gambling funds that we're going to receive. So as we move forward and apply for more federal funding to establish more programs, that may be a future discussion for sure.
Okay.
But for now, I'm with the Tracy Fell, I'm doing great. So
Awesome. There's no further comments. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
And I can attest that you're doing a good job in bagging cops.
Thank you, appreciate that.
40% for approval of memorandum of understanding through the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, by and through the Albany County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the City of Laramie, Wyoming, for the victim witness services from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Bailey, please.
Good morning, commissioners. Fawn was unable to be here today, but this is just her, her MOU with the city. They put forward $25,000 for the crime victim witness program as a matching funds for our grant.
Must be any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 40, then, please.
I move that we approve item 40 as presented.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
aye.
Aye, no, opposed, same sign. That motion carries. We removed the original 40 fund, and in its place, we put ratifying impaired driving grant faculty. David, please.
So it, this application, 2-page, fill in the blank. Is for sheriff impaired driving and occupant protection. It's for overtime deputies to what's the word? Duty service they enforce. There is a few dates that are required by the grant, so like St. Patrick's Day is a big day. I believe you even put extra enforcement out for football games and things like that. But it's not a lot of money, but it does certainly help.
If there's any questions. I didn't take the motion for item 40.
I move that we approve item 41 as presented.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 42. Present for approval agreement between the Albany County Board of Commissioners and the Wyoming Department of Health, the amount of $44,000 for the purpose of providing recruitment and retention of public health employees.
So back, I don't even know how long ago, there was an opportunity for Kim to apply for this funding. It's through the Department of Health, but they're using a contractor named Align to kind of do their work for them. This does come down from COVID money, but the purpose of the grant that we applied for was stipends for her employees at public health, just the nurses, because they're all who would qualify. Jennifer did review the agreement and there was a concern or two. You want to address those real quick?
Certainly. In the agreement itself, and despite what was in our application, it has that it's a reimbursement grant, which is fine, but that the reimbursements couldn't be for work or services performed prior to May 23rd of this year. So we just want to verify with the contact at Align that if Kim chooses to go forward with the stipends that she had outlined in her program, how do we need to structure those so that we're not in violation of the terms of the agreement itself?
I've reached out, have not heard anything back.
So
I officially also have one of these grants and I have been trying to get reimbursed since February. And so, yeah, it is a process. Let me tell you, so pay stub. Oh my God, yeah. So.
okay.
And it took forever to finally get the approval. I mean, she kept telling us that we were getting approved, saw nothing.
Is this the DocuSign one that?
This is the DocuSign one.
You probably should have a few feet.
Yeah, I already
Keep
saw
getting a
it.
reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I'm still trying to get a hold of her
yeah.
to have that question.
And probably it's fine to go ahead and sign and we'll send it in. And then we'll just work after we talk with the lady in line, we'll work with Kim to make sure that we structure those stipend payments so that we're not in violation.
Bailey, Sarah Reese was working with them right before I went to vacation, so she might be the person to reach out to. So, right, and entertain a motion for item 42, please.
I move that we approve item 42 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and I'm so glad, grateful for that. Nurses are hard to hire at this point, and there's been a lot with COVID. 43, present for approval funding from Wyoming Department of Health pursuant to Wyoming statutes 9.4-104 for the purpose of funding county health programs to prevent and treat problematic gambling behavior in the amount of $42,488.56. Bailey, please.
So this was brought to my attention from Kim, from Terry, that there's funding out there, that we do not have yet. I've been doing some research on this funding and trying to figure out, you know, what ties there are with it, and if there's reporting required. There's really, this funding's coming down from, looks like the gaming commission. And then it's being dispersed through the counties, and it looks like it's going to be an annual thing. I don't know if this means we have to accept it every year, or if this accepts it for all of it. I think this is the first year of it, so there's still some confusion. I've talked with, in my mind, just kind of thinking what this money, the money is supposed to be used for, help with, if you have a problem with gambling, prevention services for that. So in my mind, it made sense that, you know, probably putting it with Andrew with prevention does make a lot of sense. This is also, because it's not state funding, not federal funding, it is just coming from the gaming commission, but they're working with Department of Health on this, which is also Andrew's grant. We've also heard from the rest of kind of the state that a lot of counties are doing the same thing. They're funneling it through that prevention position to work with. The other requirements for this funding, there aren't really any. It just needs to be used on resources for people that have gambling issues.
And we don't have to track any numbers.
Not that I found, but you know what? I think if we can track anything, it'd be a good idea, because I think it could come back and say, well, here were your numbers. They did some calculation based off of population back in 2021. That's the reason for the amount that we're receiving. But other than that, do you have any questions? And it is just a letter that, or an invoice, I guess, that Commissioner Gosar will sign, and we'll get back, and we should then receive the funds. And as far as tracking, I mean, if you guys don't want the grants office to track it, that's perfectly fine, but we were just gonna track it the same we track every other grant.
And is this the first time for this money?
Thank you, Terry. Entertain a motion for item 43, please.
I move it, go ahead.
Okay, I move that we approve item 43 as presented.
Second,
Then moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 44, ratify pre-application and concept paper to the United States Department of Energy for the purpose of placing solar panels at road and bridge, evidence storage, and the Albany County Fairgrounds. Bailey.
So this was not in your packet because I submitted it yesterday. My grant writer worked the rest of the weekend on it, so I didn't even have anything to submit to you. We did submit an application to Department of Energy for in the amount of $602,303 for the purpose of putting solar panels on the ground in the vicinity of Fairgrounds, the SARS building, and Road and Bridge. Our hope is to connect all three of those buildings, possibly Weed and Pest. Weed and Pest could not commit because their meeting is actually today, and Lindsay would have to bring it to the board. We did mention that they could be a potential team member in our application, but we did not commit them to anything. So this would pay, Jake had to leave, but he reached out to Leo Pueblitz, who has done the solar work for the city, to get us those budget numbers. They said putting these on the ground does cost more than putting them on a roof. So I was not quite prepared for the 600,000 number, but it's definitely within the frame of the grant requirements. What else? Aaron, do you have anything to add to this one?
No, this is just a grant that, like I said, jointly between all of the offices that are in charge of those buildings to get those solar panels put in so that we can significantly reduce our energy costs and our carbon footprint over a long period of time. So there's grant money available for us to get the installation, and then the installation costs are high. But we think it's a pretty good application. Go ahead and apply for and submit and see if we can, like I said, get accepted, make those changes with those buildings, and like I said, start to realize some cost savings long term with our energy costs that we have here. So,
The other thing to mention is this is just a concept paper. The concept paper yesterday, by the middle of June, will either be invited to or encouraged to submit a full application or discouraged. And then the full application we do in August. A few things that were a little tricky to tie into this that were requirements of the grant was that community piece. The big help with that was the fairgrounds, because they're a big community piece. And Taylor was very helpful in completing this application. Any questions?
Yeah, so you're wanting to put them on the ground at the fairgrounds? I know the fairgrounds wants them raised.
A specific position or location has not been decided at this point. We found out about the grant 3 weeks before the due date. So we just, at this point, the application says in this vicinity, and it's just a big square.
Because I think putting them on ground is foolish. They should all be raised so you can park under them, you can store stuff under them. So that you don't lose the value of the land below it.
So just to kind of clarify on you, when we say that we want to put them on the ground, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a low ground clearance on there. So it basically means that we will install them to where the transmission lines will go on the ground instead of maybe what you've seen in residential areas where they're mounted on a roof. The buildings.
Right, Reed and Pest would have theirs on the roof because they don't have room.
Well, essentially, in the plan that we have is that we would have a kind of a panel of solar or basically a line of, solar panels all in one area. And then those transmission lines would then connect to the buildings that are all in that area. So the area that we have in the application is along the fence line that's between both Road and Bridge, Search and Rescue, and
So that they're not panels in each one of those different places.
No.
Okay, I was okay.
Yep.
That's what I did. I thought you, that's what, oh my gosh, yeah.
There would be 3 25 kilowatt,
Oh,
is what we put in for the operation.
the picture I had in my mind.
The picture that I can put in your mind that'll be most likely what we've applied for here is the solar panel yard right there in between Rock River Road and Bridge and the town hall that they have in Rock River. That's essentially what we've modeled our application.
And the great thing about this grant is it's 100% funded. We don't have to. do
It
any
is, there is
grant
no
match.
cost share.
Yeah, and so who knows? I wish there were more money in the pot, but thank you all. We had a nice meeting. And then from that meeting, we'll have some budget issues. We'll talk about roofs. Yeah, so thank you so much. Commissioners, any other questions for Bailey or Sharon? I entertain a motion for 44 then.
I move that we ratify the application concept paper.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 45, present for approval, this amendment to agreement between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Wilton Enterprise LLC for janitorial services at the Albany County Ag Building for the purpose of extending the term of the contract from July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2025. Jennifer.
Hello. So this is, as it says, we did the RFPs for these in 2021, and rather than go out for RFP again, we have the option under the contract to extend. So we have requested to extend this contract for another year, 2 years. 2 years, and in speaking with Gary at Wilkin Enterprises, their current amount was $200 a month. He asked to increase it to $300 a month. That increase is still less than the other response we got to the initial RFP, which ended up being like $5,200 a year. So it's still less than that. So what you have in front of you for Wilkin does include an increase as well as an extension.
Commissioners, any questions? Not an entertained motion 45.
I move that we approve it 45 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. 46, present for approval for amendment to the agreement between the Board of Commissioners of County of Albany, Wyoming, and Johnny Johnston, custodian for janitorial services at Albany County Public Health for the purpose of extending the term of the contract from July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
And this one, we only did as a 1-year extension with the hope that the second floor of Beach Street would be completed. And at that point, we would need to send it back out to RFP because it's a whole different space than what they're in now.
Commissioners, any questions? Thank you. Okay, motion 46, please.
I move that we approve item 46 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll oppose same sign. Motion carries. 47% for approval, letter to Nancy Bartholomew, Laramie City Clerk, to allow Calverton to be doing business out of Calverton State Health to apply for a catering permit for Dave Point Federal Credit Union members dinner at the Altar Stevens Center, 603 East University Avenue on June 8th, 2023, from 5 to 9 p.m.
Good morning again. The next two items are actually for the government, because the government holds their license, it's a county liquor license. We have to give approval for them to use their license within city limits. So this is just a letter to the city clerk allowing them to use their license within city limits.
Commissioners, any questions?
I move that we approve item 47 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all is in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
I oppose same sign. Motion carries. 48, present for approval, letter to Nancy Bartholomew, Laramie City Clerk, to allow the Calverton 2 LLC doing business at Calverton Steakhouse to apply for a catering permit for the Blue Sky Downtown Festival 2023, located on Grand Avenue between 1st and 2nd Streets on June 16, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Okay. I didn't do a motion.
Separate at midnight, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's a long.
yeah.
The street dance, I believe, it's starting early and.
I guess.
I
You
guess,
dance
I don't know.
from 10 to 12, you're dance.
Yes.
A lot.
It's a lot of dancing.
I entertain a motion if there are no questions.
I move that we approve item 48 as presented.
Second.
The moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 49% for approval, Wyoming employer benefit agreement between the Albany County government and Massa Medical Transport Solutions. Amanda, what it looks like Jim.
I'm filling in for Amanda this again. So this is the benefit that we offer that is the one that has the helicopter service or flight to life service from wherever you may need it for medical services. And we have had it, I believe, since 2021. There was an issue with the contract. So Amanda and Anissa and I got it worked out. And so this would be the new contract to continue those existing services. We are changing the billing to monthly. However, it used to be that Massa was substantially cheaper if we paid per employee on a per year basis. But that has now changed and there is no difference in price to pay monthly or annually. So this new contract reflects the continuation of the coverage, but a monthly payment.
Commissioners, any questions? I indicated my motion for 49.
I move that we approve item 49 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 50, re-award the 2023-2024 County Commissioners Additional Scholarship.
Want me to explain that?
Hey, Taylor, yeah, like, yeah.
We can if you.
Yeah, we had one person who was awarded originally. Decided that they were gonna go work as an apprentice, and not go to college, and so that person's wasn't,
Good for them.
yeah. We weren't eligible for the scholarship, so we had an alternate that moved up to that position.
And I think.
So with these, are we picking one person out of this or all four?
So I think
forward, or?
originally is what happened is the committee did not appoint, or they didn't designate any alternates.
So now with that one person moving, we didn't have anybody to fill that
Oh,
slot. So we have to re-award them and then they're giving an alternate position as well. So that if something were to happen with the three that you're re-awarding today, an alternate would jump into that position. Normally, your first alternate would go into that position, but there was not an alternate. So now we have an alternate and then they're re-awarding the actual award so that,
Okay,
yeah. Because normally.
So they're only re-awarding one.
They're re-awarding one and then designating an alternate as well, so if this does happen again, the alternate, normally it doesn't have to come back to the board, the alternate just jumps into that position, but there weren't any alternates, so. That necessitated it to come back.
So this is the accurate list of the awards.
Yes.
Between the last meeting and the time I was presenting it, the school district and at Rock River, that person dropped out. So I entertain a motion for item 50, if you would, please.
I move that we re-award the 2023-2024 county commissioners initial scholarships.
You want to read them? It's right there. Yeah.
Okay. So this is,
You can read all
okay, so it's all in the right order and everything. Okay, so Catherine McIvan, and she is going to go to Laramie Community College. Braylon Fowler, she's going to go to the University of Wyoming. Ashlyn Mathis, she's going to go to the University of Wyoming, and our alternate is Christian Taylor. And she's planning to go to Laramie Community College.
There's a
second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Taylor. 51, acknowledge receipt of letter of resignation from Edward Browett from the Centennial Water and Sewer District. That letter, I think, came to both of you guys. We just have to acknowledge the receipt of that. I don't have any further knowledge on the good letter, so. I entertain a motion for 51, if you would, please.
I move that we acknowledge the receipt of letter of resignation from Edward Browett from the Centennial Water and Sewer District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. 52, acknowledge receipt of letter of resignation from Charles A. Lewis for the Centennial Water and Sewer District. Once again, we all got the letter. I don't have any other additional information. I entertain a motion for 52, please.
I move that we acknowledge the letter of resignation from Charles A. Lewis.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye, please. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. 53, reappoint Jessica Perry and Joe Bowden to the Albany County Public Library Board to fill a 3-year term to expire in June 2026. I'm sure you saw the letters for both of them or applications.
And as a liaison to the Albany County Library Board, I've had the opportunity to work with Jessica and Joe. And they are both very good members of the board, very engaged, very involved. So I would highly recommend their reappointment. And I move to reappoint Jessica and Joe to the Albany County Public Board.
It's been moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Reappoint 54, Rebecca Maddox and Derek Jones, to the Albany County Tourism Board to fill a 2-year term to expire in June 2025. Commissioners, entertain any motion?
I move that we reappoint Rebecca Mattis and Derek Jones to the Albany County Tourism Board to fill a 2-year term to expire in June of 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 55, set a work session to discuss budget for June 12, 2023 at 9 a.m. June 13, 2023 at 9 a.m. In the brand new commission chambers, I might add. Not that this is a nice run. Time will be okay.
We're excited though. Kayla, these are the dates that we'd already decided on,
Yes.
just to make them.
Yeah, if I just wanted to do this, we could set it formally. Is 9 o'clock okay? I just kind of threw those times.
Well, I think that it's what will work for, like, for
I think that Tracy and I talked, on Tuesday, so I'm just gonna leave it open for Monday to go 9 to whenever we get done. I'm not gonna put any time on it. Tuesday, I do have to drive to Sheridan, but I'm happy to go later in the afternoon if we need to. I think I'm just gonna leave it open because I would rather us have the time if we need it. But Tracy and I, we're gonna get together tomorrow and we'll come up with an agenda and I'll send that out on Friday so that it's to the public and everybody knows about it. But other than that, I think we're all set to go.
Good question.
great.
I didn't see the motion for 55.
I move that we set the work session to discuss the budget for June 12th, 2023 at 9 a.m. and June 13th at 9 a.m. if needed.
So,
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'd like to thank everybody who did the budget. Thank you, really do appreciate it. And then also Tracy and Kayla and staff and everybody who helped us individually on the budget. I think that will help speed it along. I think it would like for me. And we'll see starting Monday how they all go. Thank you. Did we vote on that?
Yes, we just do need to do 55.
Okay. 55A, the EMS contract with the city of Laramie. Jennifer. Please.
yes, so this is the EMS contract for the city to provide EMS services to county residents or outside of city limits. Not county residents, but outside of city limits, for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th of 2024. The cost for this year is $275,000. The pro forma, when Dan Johnson, who is the fire chief in the Laramie Fire Department, and I initially did this contract or looked at the pro forma costs a year and a half ago. If the county was paying what the city had calculated as its pro forma rate, it was about $450,000 a year. So this is the last year of that. Deanne Johnson did say that the city is working with the hospital right now. They have a big study that's going on about EMS services and the new legislation that allows the creation of EMS districts within the county and what all of that's going to look like. He's going to wrap us in as they move forward. If they have any questions, need any help, I don't know how far they are in that process yet. He just told me about it last week or 2 weeks ago. So.
And having sat on the governor's EMS commission along with a lot of the county commissioners. At a zero, and that's what Fremont County and Sweetwater County are looking as far as providing EMS services. This is a problem nationwide. And I really am heartened by the fact that there might be an opportunity for a district. Because it does cost to run ambulances out into the rural counties. We're paying it out of our general budget now. And that's a service that I hope people will see as important and will vote for. Any other questions, Jennifer? All right, I entertain a motion for 55A.
I move that we approve the agreement with the city for the ambulance service for 1 year at the cost of $275,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. 56, approved vouchers for me.
I have one more thing.
Oh.
I had the addendum to change the submission date for sheriff's invitation to bid. Can we add that as an item? We removed it, but then we didn't add it at 28 or 9. So if we could do that as 55 feet, even that would be fabulous.
Okay. Certainly, let me go back. Read that, Raskin.
No, it's okay. We removed that one, which was the award and the approval of the contract. This is addendum number 1. to change the submission date for the invitation to go to June 29th of 2023 at 3 p.m.
Okay, and that date again,
June 29th,
okay. Gotcha.
Okay. 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Commissioners, any questions for Jennifer? Entertain a motion for 55B.
I move that we approve 55B as presented.
Second.
Moving and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 56, approved voucher for May 2023. Commissioners, entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the vouchers for May 2022.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Seeing no more business before the Albany County Commission on June 6, 2023. I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for helping us with this, and we will see you in 2 weeks at the newly renovated Commissioners Chambers. And we look forward to you then. Thanks. Have a great afternoon, and we will be the work session.